Welcome to All Things Chiropractic.
Welcome to another episode of All Things Chiropractic. I'm Paul Andrews.
Dr. Mark Davini. Hello, everyone.
All right, so this episode, we're going to be talking about something that we're all familiar with, I hope.
It's the new patient happening. Or does it?
You know, it's funny, depending on the part of the country that you're treating in right now, we have some areas of the country where new patients are bountiful, and then other areas, for some reason, not so much, right?
Right. And I think a lot of that has to do with, I think, something you've mentioned in the past. Here in Massachusetts, we have Romney Care, which is, 3 years earlier than Obamacare came around, which essentially says most people have insurance. Doesn't necessarily mean they have coverage, but they do have insurance.
I mean, the whole country's supposed to have insurance.
Right, supposed to. So that means that generally speaking, people can come into your office as a new patient, but they may not get the coverage they need to have the amount of care that's necessary. So it's a double-edged sword. All these people coming in, but they don't stick around.
So we wanted to talk about some strategies with not just obtaining new patients, if that's what you need, but also the retention of your new patients, especially if you employ associates. Do you know the retention ratio of the new patients that you help supply? I think of it this way, and it's not chiropractic, but with the chiropractor I was working for many, many years ago, he expanded. He opened physical therapy and massage therapy. And I remember the massage therapy that he did after like a year, and he used to give away tons of gift certificates for like sporting events and other prizes. He just wanted to get the department going. And there was something in the ballpark of like, I don't know, 300 or 400 new massage therapy clients, and the retention ratio was less than 1%.
So you're providing free service and not making any money.
Yeah. And it came down to, in looking at the massage therapists, they just came out of school thinking everyone's going to want my services. I don't have to internally work on my procedures to promote, enhance, and give permission to that client to come back.
Right. And if you think about retention, and this will be the working concept as we go further in the podcast here, but if theoretically or hypothetically, every new patient that came to your office never left, they went through their active treatment, then they went on to maintenance, and they stayed under maintenance care forever and always, there's going to be a point where you just can't see any more people. There's a capacity based on your schedule and how your office and your staffing or whatever. Now, that's not saying you can't expand to a certain point, but generally speaking, there is a capacity. So in theory, if you were to retain all of your new patients, you would at some point arrive at a place where you don't need any new patients. Now, that's not the real world. People come and people go. And so we always have to have this replenishment of new patients. But we want that taken with a grain of salt, that the goal here isn't to have so many new patients you have no time to treat, or so many new patients that you're just an examining doctor and you're not a treating doctor. We want you to think about new patients as, what is it that I need to maintain the volume that I want and still have the number of patients that I treat under the category I like treating them under, active or maintenance care. So always keep in the back of your mind this retention and capacity concept.
It actually would be a good goal-setting exercise to figure out what is your capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I knew exactly how many patients I needed on a regular basis to fill my schedule to the point that I wanted it filled. I knew exactly. And when I was close to that number, I didn't need as many new patients. When I was farther away from that number, I needed more new patients. So it all comes down to, again, we talk about this, and I think in another podcast, by the numbers, but we're talking about saying you should know your practice. You should know what it is that you're capable of, your capacity, and where you are in fulfilling that capacity, and then what you need to do to reach that goal. That's where we are right now. We're at that point. We're saying, okay, I want some more new patients. What do I do? What's the very, very first thing I do if I need new patients. And this may come to a shocker to a lot of people, but your patients may not know you want new patients. Everybody went, what? Honest to God, they walk into your office, they see all these people sitting there, they see that you're busy, they go to schedule and they have to compromise on their time, whatever. They think he's full. Now, that's not a concept that's totally foreign because a lot, if not most medical practices close their practice to new patients. So the very, very first thing you have to do is find a way to make the patients know you're accepting new patients. And what's the easiest, cheapest, absolutely no overhead way of doing that?
Ask.
Oh my God. Ask your patients for new patients or if they know others that would benefit from your service. No overhead. They're going to refer in people that will be like to them, which means they're going to be good patients. I mean, there's good patients and bad new patients. You just went through that example. All those people came in for the freebie and then never stayed on as other patients. So it is the cheapest, easiest, and most effective way to get new patients is to simply ask.
I know one of the techniques for that, probably more than one practice management company does this or recommends it, is that you bring family members in for the report of findings.
It was a requirement for me if possible. Now, obviously you can't, but the follow-up script would be, well, then I would be happy to sit down with them at any time that I have in my schedule to go over this again, or if they want to call and have questions. Now, most of the time, none of that happens. But it's that openness that door gets open to start talking about other people. Do you, when we used to call and, call for their appointment, at the very end of it, the script was that says, great, we'll see you on so-and-so. Is there anybody else at this point you would like to schedule? Just putting it out there that this is what you want, because it's not automatically understood that you want new patients.
What about thanking people that refer other people?
Screw that. No.
I mean, literally a thank you is pretty helpful.
Yeah. And Thanksgiving is a great time to thank people.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful time. And, if you send Thanksgiving cards to people, if you want it instead of Christmas cards necessarily, they'll likely be the only Thanksgiving card they get, as opposed to one of the 50 Christmas cards they get. Or Hanukkah cards or whatever that goes out there. So I'm just saying gratitude, yes, absolutely, gratitude. But the point is that you need to have some type of in-house referral program. And that can be whatever you want. That could be, you refer 5 people into your office and I give you a free adjustment. It could be that if you show up for my healthcare class, I'll give you a coupon for a free adjustment or something. You have to have some type of in-house referral program.
Within the compliance standards,
Within the compliance standards, and every state's a little bit different, but, we all have things that we do to try and stimulate referrals. And the cheapest and most effective is in-house referrals. All that other stuff is good. It's another thing. But if you said I could only do one thing in my practice, it would be in-house. And here's the concept. Stimulating referrals is an unconscious or subconscious effort that should be built into everything you do in your office. It should be a consistent theme that chiropractic is for everybody. Chiropractic is not just pain management. And if you're finding that, what you want from chiropractic, then maybe you should refer others. That's all unconsciously done throughout your office, or should be unconsciously done throughout your office, in the posters, in the handouts, in your scripting, in your procedures, everything.
The doctors that I see are very successful in this are the ones that have this genuine passion to share the power of chiropractic with other people. It doesn't start with the financial goal. It starts with, this is an amazing service that everyone should have in their life, and I want to spread that word. And
absolutely.
it really does resonate.
Money should be the byproduct of a successful practice. If you're in chiropractic to make money, please do me as a chiropractor a favor and leave the profession. We don't need you. We don't want you. We want people who love chiropractic.
Tough love from Dr. Davini. Wow.
Well, but it's true. We
Or-
don't need you in our profession. We need people who care.
Pivot back to the passion, right?
Passion, exactly.
Pivot back to the passion.
Of chiropractic, not of money.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You can't take it with you. So this is one that I think really, really, really could be utilized a lot better, which is networking with other health professionals. I don't think a lot of chiropractors do this.
No. And it's such an easy in-house thing, right?
Now, be selective, because if you don't provide physical therapy in your office, but you want to refer out, make sure you have a relationship or spark one up with a PT that isn't going to say to that patient you referred in, don't go back to the chiropractor.
Right. I can fix you. You don't need them.
Yeah.
But again, if you're really effective in educating them about what chiropractic is, that wouldn't even matter so much because they know that, well, it's nothing you're going to do that's going to make up for what they do. And that's where that passion comes back,
Massage therapy, big time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have it in your office already, lots and lots of massage therapists would love to partner with chiropractors for that back and forth referral relationship.
Right.
It's very complimentary.
Very complimentary. And so make sure that you develop these relationships. Send your initial exam note to their primary care. They'll probably never read it. But the fact that they're getting this note from you to them and trying to make that connection makes them start having faith, at least in you personally, if not the profession.
Yeah. And others, you've got personal trainers, yoga instructors, Pilates, whatever.
Network.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So let's say the in-house thing is humming along. What else?
I'm surprised at how many people do not have a structured, formal educational program in their office. And I'm not even going to tell you what to do per se. There are many things you can do, but there should be something that's structured and formal, meaning what pamphlets do they get if they get pamphlets? When do they get them in the program? Do you have some type of healthcare class? When do they have them? Are they required to go to them? Somewhere from point A to point B, there should be some type of formalized program. Now, today, with the technology we have today, things like you could have healthcare classes through Zoom. How nice is that? So all of a sudden, they don't have to, schlep into your office, and they can turn it on and listen in the background or whatever. Or you could have these pre-recorded things, these like podcast type of things that they can listen to. So there's many, many ways in which you can communicate to your patients, and through email, through texting, if they allow you to do that, about just concepts of chiropractic. That's all.
I would say to be careful on how and what you deliver, because we are inundated with data on a daily basis. So you want to have it mean something to them. Right. So
personal.
Sure. What is chiropractic? But if it were me, I'd want to know something that I would want to watch or listen to something that was more specific to me versus general too.
Right. So you can have versions of it that if this patient was, say, a low back disc issue, then maybe that one particular recording was on low back discs. Something like that. Whatever it is, have it be formal and structured to the point where your staff knows what to do with the patients as they come in, so that they are participating in the learning process, not just coming in to get well and get their pain to go away. Because if you don't say anything to them, that's their motivation. They're coming in to get their problem resolved. If they don't understand chiropractic and the full benefits of chiropractic, then they're going to go away as soon as that pain goes away. And now we're going back to the idea of having poor retention, which means now you need more of these new patients to come in. The goal should be to have as few new patients a week as possible to maintain your volume. That's a practice that's ongoing. And then if you want to see more new people, then you have to look at other ways to expand, but not just keep dumping new patients into your practice at the expense of your regulars, in a sense.
Every visit's an opportunity, and I would just say, have that organic conversation that includes education on every patient visit, right?
We talk about this a lot. Your scripting matters. Do you have a reception room or do you have a waiting room? There's so many of these things that we could go on and on and on about, but it all matters. And let me say this, that 2% of what a person learns is through words. So if you think just because you said it, it should be enough for them to get it, no. You have to tell them again. What do they say? 11 times. You have to give the same message. It has to be done in various forms. It can be done in words. It can be done in posters. It can be done in sound, everything. You have to keep driving the point home, and you must be congruent in your office. The message that you want to send should be the message that's sent through all aspects of your office.
So the next one I think is a great way for especially newer in the community doctors to propel their stature within the community, which is by getting involved.
Absolutely. And again, things like, Rotary clubs and all these other types of service organizations, they're perfect because you're there not directly to get a new patient. The end byproduct may be that you get new patients, but you're not there soliciting. You're not there, trying to sell yourself. You're there for the purpose of the service organization and their purpose and goal. But I mean, everybody joins these things to network, in a sense, for more business. And if you're part of the Better Business Bureau, it's going to be exactly that. So become part of these things and recognize that everybody else is there for the same reason, but we also have a greater purpose being part of that organization, which is now away from the selling and soliciting concepts.
I think giving back inside your community is really important. And that includes your time, but it also is, sponsoring, your kids' Little League or your staff person's kids' volleyball or whatever it may be.
Your food pantry. I mean, there's so many things that you can attach yourself to.
Putting your business card in some pamphlet for the day isn't going to, that's not really going to do much on its own, but it's just another touch where someone says, oh, I know that doctor, or I see that doctor everywhere now.
Think service and think continuous and ongoing, and in kind of a negative way. We always joke, you see those billboards about the ambulance chasing lawyer or whatever, but you see them on TV, you see them on the billboards, you get solicitations in the mail, and everybody jokes about it, but everybody knows them. So you want to be that way, only in a positive. You want people to know who you are, not just driving by your office and seeing a name on a sign, but also through mutual patients, through mutual service organizations, through caring, being part of your community. So absolutely participate in community.
And you can be selective on the ones that you do, the ones that resonate with you or your life, like, those magnetic business card size business, throwing on the shrapnel of an auto accident that just happened might be a little distasteful.
No, that's what I mean. You have to use some discretion,
I didn't say not to do it, but it's distasteful.
Yeah, let's put it this way. Like I wouldn't join, a network. I wouldn't network with a neighborhood basketball team because there isn't anything I do worse on this earth than basketball.
Is it the vertically challenged or the eyes? Or
it's everything about it that I do poorly. So
you could in an ironic way.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was always picked first, not because I was good. It's just that they didn't want me on the other side, hurting them.
Oh, I see. They could bench you.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying, to participate. And as you can see, there are good patients and bad patients can be generated from any and all of these things. So you want to do them in a way that generates good patients. Wasting your time when someone comes in for the whatever it is that you're offering and then never coming back is not good. I call it negative marketing. If I do, a screening, for example, that's what we're going to be talking about next in a sense, but I give away free consultations for anybody that I screen at a health fair, for example. And then all of a sudden, I get 40 people that's scheduled for the screening, that's scheduled from the screening. They come into the office, they schedule, and 20 of them show up. And of the 20 that show up, 10 of them will be willing to go through the exam. And of the 10 that go through the exam, 3 of them end up, starting care. And of the 3 that start care, 1 of them ends up, staying with care. So you think, oh my God, I got the 1 new patient or whatever, and whatever those numbers might actually be. But if you really stop and analyze it, did you turn off more than you turned on to chiropractic? So be careful of negative marketing.
So always, like we started with in-house referrals, as asking your current patients. Well, always it's easier, I think, and cheaper to work within the patient base you have to stimulate those referrals.
Because those are the kinds of patients you want. They're already happy with you.
And anybody who's been in business, even a little while knows that word of mouth is your most successful marketing, right?
Yeah.
And so there's books out there. There's Ritz-Carlton did a book. Disney did a book about this, first class, high quality, outstanding service. You can learn a lot from those types of resources on how to really elevate the experience in your office.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at Disney, their mission statement is very simple: happiness. Everything they do is geared toward, or used to be geared toward, happiness. So,
but choose wisely too, because I know, like sometimes I'll go into a chiropractor's office and it's like a spa. It's really nice, quiet music. Right. But then I said to myself, "There's no way this is a volume practice. There's no way,
right?
Because it's such a spa experience, which is typically everything slows down." Everything's relaxed, which is great. But again,
well, you have to decide what type of practice you're having. You can have a high volume, a high volume, low fee service. You can have a low volume, high fee service. You can have everything in between them. But whatever it is, be congruent, be consistent, and work it within. And then you can go to the outside stuff, participate in community, but again, as a service, possibility more than trying to look for business directly. That will be an indirect source of new patients. You can't do promos, but again, recognize that the likelihood of these drawing in the best type of patient is less. I'd rather give an existing patient a card saying, I know that you have a friend who is thinking of coming in, but they have a money issue. I'm going to give you this card that you can give specifically to that person. And then I will discount or give the exam free. Not this open wide thing where you get anybody and
exclusions apply.
Exclusions apply. Compliance applies, which is a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, make sure that you are aware of what it is that you're doing, and don't focus on things that get you a lot of people that aren't the kind of people you want. Social media is a big thing in our world, but you have to be careful about social media because you may get patients from social media, but are they the patients you want?
Yeah, I guess that all depends. You really have to decide. But speaking of social media, it can be such a black hole if you're not careful. Both personally, you can consume a lot of your time, obviously, but just throwing stuff out there, posts, reels, stories, and not having a congruent message. You should really plot and plan out your social media strategies months at a time so that you can have a very standardized branded message, and you can it's like another job. Either you've got a younger CA who knows how to handle all this stuff that you trust and you review what's going out there, or if you handle it yourself, or you have a company do it, whatever it may be. But realize that you need to really analyze the return on that investment, because every time we've worked with social media companies, they're not wrong by saying, you got to spend, if you want to get yourself out there and get those heads up views, you got to pour some money into it. They're not wrong in saying that. It's just, if you do that over a period of time and you're not seeing a return on your investment, is that because it's not working from the social media platform aspect, or is there something happening internally that is not allowing you to return on that investment? Things like, if you're trying to appeal to a younger audience, can you schedule online? They don't want to call and talk to somebody. They want to schedule online. Do you have AI assistants to help you with that, so that you can do that? There's plenty of technology now that's going to help you in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, social media is like the yellow pages of today. And if it's done well, you're going to draw in good people.
The what?
Huh?
I've never heard of
The
that.
yellow pages of today, and there are good, there are ads that work and there are ads that don't work, and especially in the old days with yellow pages, and there's the same thing with social media today. But also be mindful that you might have a professional presence on social media, and you might also have a personal presence on social media. And you may think that there's a distinction between the two, but there isn't. Your presence on social media is the persona that's put out there. People will look at both the personal and professional, and then they will make their judgments. So if you're on your professional side and you want to make everybody think that you're a certain way, and then all of a sudden you go on your personal side and they show you standing on the bar, with the lampshade on your head, with 2 beers in your hand, then maybe that's not quite.
That was
the
Mark
image.
last week, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I'm not on social media.
Yeah. Well, lock it down. Lock down those personal accounts so you only share with the people you want to share.
Exactly.
Versus
Be very
others.
careful. It's so out there and so widespread.
While we're talking about digital, it is always a good idea to ask for those online reviews. And I think that there's plenty of systems out there that can send out, text or email solicitations after your visits, asking you for those reviews. Be careful how you respond to negative reviews so you don't violate HIPAA.
Right. And don't be a pain in the butt about them too. You send out 1, you send out maybe 2, but don't send out 100. Nothing's worse than getting something over and over and over again that you don't want to respond to. So be mindful that you're not the only one sending these people things. So
be okay with a review that's not 5-star too. And the reason why I say that is the less than 5-star review, I think, validates the reviews wholesale. Because if everything's 5-star, people will start to wonder, do you have bots? Are your staff doing this? Is this?
Yeah, we just did a podcast on emotional intelligence, and what was the one thing we said?
Huh?
You can't be perfect.
Huh?
What?
I'm still trying to get over that one.
Yeah,
that episode.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's true. I always look at it and I say, this way too many rosy reviews. I don't see anything negative. This all must be manufactured. So, of course, you strive for 5 stars. But if somebody is a tough grader and they don't give you 5, be okay with that, because I think, again, it validates.
Yeah, my science teacher in high school said he has never given out 100 in his whole life on a test. And he had a very simple method of testing. It was 50 questions he would ask. You write your answer, and it had to be in a certain format, in a certain paper, in a certain way. And what he's saying is there's no such thing as perfect. And he would find something wrong. Even if all the answers were correct, there'd be something wrong in the paper itself, how it was folded, how it was set up, how you put your name on, whatever. And his whole point as a teacher was, so you got a 99 instead of 100. But his whole point as a teacher was saying you strive for perfection, but you never reach it.
You know what? He's kind of I'm not even going to say it. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but come on, man.
He was my best teacher in high school.
And you're the one person who got 100 problem.
Everybody loved him. Mr. B.
Listen, not sure that would work in today's world.
I know, it's like they'd probably get an ulcer because they can't get 100.
Yeah. And so, there's another option too that's certainly gotten popular over the last few years is telehealth. There are opportunities now. Before you scream and yell at me that you can't adjust over the phone or over a video conference. Yes, you cannot. I agree with that, but
depends on where you place the receiver.
Moving on. But you can certainly consult over the phone. You can figure out if they're a candidate for chiropractic over the phone, right? Or over the video conference or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes out to be that there are many, many different ways that you can try and stimulate new patients. And the quality of that new patient can diminish based on the method that you're using. But what we're saying is you have to have it in your practice built in as an everyday routine. You don't start looking for new patients when all of a sudden you're slow. You do everything that you do all the time, good times and bad. So that when the bad times come around or the slower time cycles come around, you're already doing it. and you're already, everything is responding the way it should be. You're not gearing up. Oh my God, it's really slow. Let's push for new patients. No, new patient stimulation should be part of your everyday procedure. And you should be at that point where hopefully you're putting your patient visits off for quite a while because your retention is so good that you don't have space for too many new patients in a week.
I think one of the most challenging things at first is to carve out that business management time in your schedule. If you don't schedule this to review procedure protocol, whatever it may be, looking at your numbers, enhancements, it's going to be really hard to continue this and follow through on it.
No plan is a plan to fail. Simple. They say that. So.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us for another episode of All Things Chiropractic. I'm Paul Andrews.
And I'm Dr. Mark Davini. Please tell others about our podcast.
Exactly.
Thanks for listening to All Things Chiropractic. We'd love to hear from you. Visit allthingschiropractic.com with comments, episode ideas, or questions. Or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at All Things Chiropractic Podcast. Be sure to join Dr. Mark Davini and Paul Andrews next time for another episode of All Things Chiropractic.